Hi everyone, we had a look at ngIf and ngFor. Now there is one structural directive missing, and this is ngSwitch. Let's have a look at this now. First, I'll create a new section for class of directive for styling reason again. And ngSwitch does just what the name lets us expect. It's like a switch statement where, like several if statements, so to say, where we can just check the state of a certain variable and then render something to the DOM depending on the value of the variable. So we're using it like this. Let's create first, let's say what we're using here. And a little bit strange is we're using squared brackets here instead of the star, but it's not that strange if you see what we're actually doing. So let me first describe what we're doing here. Enter red, blue, or green into this input field here, which will get local variable of name color, and again our kind of dummy event to update the UI. And then here we'll have another div with the ngSwitch attached to it. Here I will use ngSwitch equals color.value, which is just the value of this input field here. So we're checking which value was entered. Now, why are we using squared brackets? Because this is a directive which doesn't work on its own, right? We're not specifying what should happen on the different states. So we will specify those states individually by adding templates. That's an HTML5 tag, template tag here. And each template tag will get an ngSwitch when directive added to it, where we check for, let's say, red here. And then we output color is red. And let's give this some styling here. Style equals. And then here I'd like to have color double color colon red. Oops, no quotation marks here. Red. So if I enter red here, you can see this appeared now, and this is red. Now blue or green don't do anything as of now because we haven't implemented those templates here. So back to the question, why are we using squared brackets? Because this directive on its own doesn't change the DOM. So it would be wrong to use a star, which would indicate, hey, this changes the structure of the DOM like those two clearly do. This one does. It just takes this value and then it does something with this value in the background. But whatever it does, we're now able to access the result of this doing with the ngSwitch when directive, where we also pass something into. We're passing the condition we want to check. And then somehow those two, the ngSwitch and the ngSwitch when, are matched in a way that only the template matching the condition is displayed. And therefore we're not using the star because we're passing something into ngSwitch, we're passing something into ngSwitch when, and then both together work out what to do with the DOM. So there is no single directive which does this. Therefore, we have two directives, attribute directives, so to say, where we are setting some property through property binding. That's why we have the squared brackets. And then they together work as a structural directive. That's the difference, and that's quite important. So now let me duplicate this a couple of times so that I can do the same for blue and green. And then this one here, I will change. I will get rid of this, and I will I'll remove it completely. I will set ngSwitch default. Now no squared brackets here because I'm not passing into this anything. No squared brackets here because I'm not passing no squared brackets here because I'm not passing any data into this. This is just a directive on its own without any property binding, which says if no other when statement here was met, if no condition we defined here was met, well then please display it, in this case, without any color and just say don't know that color or something like that. Now here obviously I have to change this to reflect the actual colors that were chosen. And if I save this now, and now by default it says I don't know that color because, well, it doesn't know empty, it doesn't know yellow, but what it does know is green. As you can see, it also knows blue and it also knows red. So that is how ngSwitch works. And even though we create it this way, it's still a structural directive because, well, not all of this stuff here is displayed. It's changing the structure of the DOM depending on which condition is true. And then it will actually change it in a way that it is not rendering this template tag here, but it is switching the content between those div tags here. So the result, can look at it in Inspector actually. The result is just a div element with this span element between. No more template element being there. And that is why it's a structural directive. Cool, so that have been the built-in structural directives. Now in the next video, we're going to build our own structural directives. Or directive. See you there. Bye.